What if I told you that in over 100 years of experiments, revolutions, and promises of equality, not a single communist country has delivered lasting prosperity and freedom at the same time? Communism began as a powerful idea. In 1848, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels published the Communist Manifesto, arguing that private property created inequality and that workers should control the means of production. The vision was bold: no rich, no poor, no exploitation, just equality. But every time the theory was put into practice, the results looked very different. In the Soviet Union, the communist experiment began with revolution in 1917. Private property was abolished. Industries were nationalized. Farms were collectivized. The state controlled prices, production, and distribution. But without market signals, shortages became constant. Bread lines became normal. Innovation slowed. And political dissent? It was crushed. Millions were imprisoned in labor camps or executed under leaders like Joseph Stalin. In China, Mao Zedong launched the Great Leap Forward, trying to rapidly industrialize a poor nation. The result was one of the worst famines in human history. Tens of millions died. Later, the Cultural Revolution tore apart education, culture, and trust within society. Ironically, China only began lifting hundreds of millions out of poverty after introducing market reforms, moving away from strict communism. Look at North Korea, one of the last fully centralized communist systems. It remains isolated, economically stagnant, and politically repressive. Or Cuba, where decades of state control have produced chronic shortages and mass emigration. Why does this pattern repeat? First, incentives matter. When the state owns everything, individuals often lose motivation to innovate or take risks. If your income doesn't change based on performance, productivity tends to fall. Second, information matters. A small group of planners cannot possibly process all the information that millions of buyers and sellers generate in a free market. Without price signals reflecting supply and demand, misallocation becomes inevitable. Third, power concentrates. To enforce total economic control, the state must become extremely powerful. And concentrated power rarely stays benevolent. Political repression becomes not a bug, but a feature, because dissent threatens the system itself. Supporters argue that real communism has never been tried. Critics respond that every attempt has required authoritarian control to function at all. The pattern is clear. Wherever full-scale communism has been implemented, it has led to economic stagnation, shortages, and loss of political freedom, and eventually either collapse or major reform. The promise was equality and abundance. The reality, again and again, has been scarcity and control. And that is why, after more than a century of trials, there is still no example of a communist system that achieved both lasting prosperity and lasting freedom at the same time.